the end, the sword gave way to the rifle, and the samurai faded into legend. Once the fiercest warriors in the world, they became relics of a bygone era almost overnight. But what really led to their downfall? Let's step into a Japan on the brink of transformation, where honor, tradition, and progress collided. For over 250 years, Japan lived under the Tokugawa shogunate, a period of unparalleled peace and stability. Samurai, once feared across battlefields, suddenly found themselves without wars to fight. Their swords, symbols of life and death, became ceremonial objects, polished for display rather than combat. Many samurai shifted to bureaucratic roles, collecting taxes, enforcing laws, and managing towns. Imagine a warrior, trained in the art of battle, now hunched over ledgers instead of sharpening a blade. Some resisted, clinging to Bushido, the code of the warrior, teaching courage, loyalty, and honor. Others adapted, mentoring students, teaching martial arts, or preserving cultural rituals. Across Edo streets, lanterns reflected off armor as samurai walked quietly, remnants of a powerful past living in the shadows of bureaucracy. Some practiced swordsmanship in secret at night, keeping their skills alive if only for memory. How does a warrior survive when the world no longer needs him? In 1868, the Meiji Restoration reshaped Japan completely. The centuries-old shogunate fell, the emperor returned as central authority, and the nation embraced modernization at dizzying speed. Steam trains rattled across the countryside, factories belched smoke, and a Western-style army marched with rifles and cannons. Samurai could no longer claim dominance through skill with a blade. Some resisted violently. Legendary samurai Saigo Takamori led the Satsuma Rebellion, a desperate effort to preserve centuries of tradition, but even the bravest warriors were crushed by the new army's superior firepower. Others adapted, reluctantly becoming teachers, government officials, or merchants, passing Bushido values to ordinary citizens. Imagine a samurai handing over his sword for the first time, grappling with the loss of identity and purpose, honor rendered obsolete. Citizens watched in awe and confusion. The revered warriors were losing authority. Tradition clashed with progress, swords against rifles, honor against pragmatism. Poetry, kabuki plays, and even calligraphy began to reflect this tension, capturing the sorrow, bravery, and dignity of a fading class. Can honor exist without a battlefield? The final, symbolic blow came in 1876 with the Haitorei Edict, banning samurai from wearing swords in public. The visible emblem of their power and status, once a mark of fear and respect, was gone overnight. Stipends were slashed, privileges erased, and the rigid social hierarchy that had defined Japan for centuries collapsed. Some samurai thrived in new roles, while others sank into poverty, clinging to pride but stripped of purpose. Families who had once lived in privilege struggled to adapt to ordinary life, while children learned Western education instead of martial arts. Some samurai preserved their legacy in ink and brush, recording lessons of courage for future generations. As Yamamoto Tsunetomo wrote in Hagakure, "The way of the warrior is death," yet for many, it now meant the death of an era rather than a battlefield clash. Across Japan, swords were stored in attics, armor gathered dust, and streets once patrolled by elite warriors were empty. Imagine that first evening after the edict, streets quiet, lanterns on armor, bells echoing. Even as the streets grew silent, the spirit of the warrior lived on in those who remembered, teaching honor and courage. What does it mean for a society when its warriors vanish, but their ideals endure? Though the samurai disappeared from the streets, their spirit endures. Bushido, the principles of honor, loyalty, and discipline, lives on in martial arts like kendo, judo, and aikido, in literature, kabuki theater, films like Seven Samurai and The Last Samurai, anime such as Rurouni Kenshin, and even in modern business ethics. In Japanese etiquette, leadership, and discipline, the echo of samurai values remains. International fascination with the samurai continues, influencing writers, filmmakers, and historians around the world. The sword may have given way to the rifle, but the legend of the samurai continues to inspire. Honor is not the sword in your hand, but the courage in your heart. Imagine generations of pride, rendered invisible overnight, yet alive in spirit. And in boardrooms, classrooms, and dojo mats across Japan, the spirit of the samurai quietly endures. Even as swords vanished, the echoes of courage and honor continued to shape hearts across generations. The era of the samurai ended not with a clash of steel, but with the quiet tick of progress. Yet the lessons of courage, honor, and discipline remain, echoing across centuries and cultures alike. Like and subscribe for more.